What is going on tonight? We have a ton of news, so stick around. We're going to talk about your phone listening to you and a whole lot more. We'll be right back, right after this. Remember, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. And if you're not getting internet notifications from the algorithm gods, make sure to get ours. You can go over to marfooglenews.com and sign up for our own push notifications and for our email alerts. With that being said, man oh man, do we have a show for you. Just to remind you, on that same system, you can sign up for our email alerts and you can actually get articles from us, different notifications. If we knew something was going to go down for absolutely sure, if one of our military group, said something was going to go down and we knew it was absolutely confirmed, we would let you know through that system. Not only that, we are using it right now for bigger creators to actually write articles through our platform. We are also building a platform for everybody to get together, be able to communicate again, since Discord is no more, or at least ours isn't. So with that out of the way, make sure to sign up for that. It's free, it's easy, and it is useful. All right, and then tonight we're going to be going over a lot of different news stories, such as Beijing holding military exercises, Russia holding military exercises, your phone possibly listening in on your conversations. We're going to talk about all of that, and we are backing ourselves up. We actually take the time before every single show to actually put it on our website, so you have a bibliography of sorts that let you know what our sources are. Now, if you go to our website, marfooglenews.com, you'll see it is organized by thumbnail. So when you go to this thumbnail, you will see that it has every single tweet, every single video, every single article, every single archived document or picture is on the website there. So you can take a second device and watch these videos, zoom in on them. Maybe you want to see, there's an alien craft in the clouds that a caller sends in. You want to inspect it for yourself. It's all going to be there, including the caller's info. If they have a channel, if they're a YouTuber, sometimes we've had, from Third Phase of Moon to, Jacob Israel calling in, their info and their links will be there. Not to mention, again, there's all of these resources there for you to go back to. We archive this, so then in a year when we talk about it, we can easily go back to this episode, click on that article and say, this is exactly what we were talking about at that point. So lots of stuff to go over. I'll get into it. First off, though, just real quick, we need to introduce my co-host, my best friend, Dex. Will be doing the screening, and he'll be updating the website live as the show goes on, so you will not miss anything. Dex, are you there, and can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So obviously you have been busy as well. You don't have to go into too many details, but you were doing some protesting and things on your own.
Yeah, we took a little side trip, and ran into some friendly protesters and participated. It's kind of interesting.
Now, again, you got some pretty good, interesting stuff. We'll go over that later and we'll bring it in. But without further ado, let's get into the news. I am having an issue with my voice. I'm not sick or anything. I just don't know why. But my voice has been going off and on. Really, really weird. So if I have any problems, I might have Dex take over at some point. I don't know. But again, if I have to cough it out, I will try to mute the mic, which just happened. Okay, so again, Beijing holding military exercises near Taiwan as U.S. diplomat visits. This is probably not an accident, and we've talked about many of these exercises as the last 3 years, everything is ramped up, and they tell you in MSM that, of course, tensions are rising and tensions are escalating, but most people want to know what is really going on. Well, I'll tell you, I think from my opinion standpoint, is that they are planning for something gigantic. And I mean much bigger than the event where we're all covering our faces for, something more massive than that. People say, oh, that hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened yet. Just like last year when we did our several shows in a row about the coming pandemic, everybody goes, oh yeah, sure, where's this pandemic? Well, now that it's here, nobody really cares, and we can pat ourselves on the back all we want, but who cared back then, right? So when I'm telling you this, just keep in mind that it takes years and years for these things to come together. And if you do truly believe that there are some pulling strings up above, then you would probably know throughout our history there has been a absolute butt ton of paying both sides and watching it all play out. If you look at every world conflict that we've ever had, you've had people that actually profited off of both sides, going back all the way to the Civil War, of course, where you had some of the big families, some of the well-known family names that are still around. They were paying both sides, and they were even arming both sides because they were actually going to profit off of this conflict no matter who won. So it seems like history is repeating itself. We've seen a lot of the same things happen. Even now that we saw in WW2, we've seen some of the same actions. We've seen some of the same rules, the same laws, the same lack of laws. We've even seen the same politicization of the flag. When has that happened before? Well, I'll tell you, in all of the previous world conflicts back to the Civil one, at least. That's just at the American flag, and it being politicized the way it is, and that it stands for one side or the other. That's not what it should be. Period. Everybody should be looking under that, but they're not, because now it is the symbol of this side or that side, right? Well, this has happened before, and it's happened so closely to what's going on now, it is scary. So I think that most of you guys know, the people that have been here for 3 years watching me, you guys already know. I don't have to, preach to the choir. You guys are already on top of it. You know the whole story. But to some of those new folks out there, again, I would just ask you to be open-minded when you watch the show. We're trying to be open-minded with everybody. We're trying to basically ask questions. We're not trying to scare you. In fact, I think that if you talk about subjects like this, and that's what I ask you guys to do, if you're watching my show, there's going to be some scary things talked about, whether it be Yellowstone going off or the possibility of it, or a asteroid hitting Earth. We talk about those subjects, so if it does happen, you're not afraid. You don't freeze up, and you don't freak out when it happens. Because all of these are real life things that we accept as fact, but yet our brains and our culture doesn't want to talk about it, and we just say, oh no, you're weird, don't talk about that. Why not? The government's talking about it. The military's talking about it. They're drilling all the time. In fact, all of the world is preparing for something weird. And it just so happens that in the last couple of years, everybody's trying to get to space. Mars in particular. Is it a race to be the first country? No. Maybe it's for money. We don't know. But what we do know for the facts, and we have this backed up, is they have, China has said that Xi Jinping has said to his military, get ready for conflict. And he used the W word. We know that all of the main countries are, one, trying to get to the moon and trying to get to Mars. And they have all of a sudden a weird deadline of like 2024, 25. We also have at the same time them saying that we have 7 years or something like this up until we have to be zero emissions. Otherwise, the whole planet's done for. Maybe it's, of course, there's arguments on all sides. But again, then we have Russia separating its entire internet from the rest of the world, basically at the snap of a finger. One day I was reporting that they said, oh, well, we might think about doing this. The next day it was like, we're passing a law to do this. And then it was a couple weeks later, they were like, oh, we've separated our entire internet system from the rest of the world. Why would they do that? Then you have China, all these other countries doing the same thing. You've got countries, I believe it's Sweden. Sweden put its entire navy back into bunkers, underground water bunkers that they can literally shut up. Something straight out of the Bond films. You've got the entire U.S. kind of military higher command in NORAD and other locations in Mount Cheyenne. You've got all of the world's main observatories. They were shut down for a period of a lot of months. And we actually don't have the number that are still up. Of course, when you receive these news stories saying, oh, we just discovered this and discovered that, you think, oh, everything's back to normal. I don't think that that's actually the case. I think a majority of them are closed down, and the ones that are open, just like any movie has kind of portrayed it, are the ones that are owned by the U.S. government or our allies. Or Chinese and Russia, but we're not going to be seeing the results from those. There is a lot going on right now, and I just ask people not think that this is too crazy or too out of this world, because it's all going down right in front of us. We've seen the poisoning and the diplomat, the tit for tat over the last 3 years. If you've watched me, you know that we've actually tracked all of the back and forth between Russia, China, and this and that. And you could easily say that this is all one big distraction and they're actually friends behind the scenes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it, actually. But when it does happen, keep in mind, they could totally be friends and go to conflict at the same time, because your cousin and your brother or the regular Joes in the lower positions that are going to be putting their lives on the line, they don't care about those people as much as they care about themselves. As far as they could do that, and it will still make them money. Now you've got robotic tech and the military industrial complex pumping out harder than it's ever pumped before. Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, all pumping out missiles at rates that we've never seen before. We've actually had employees call in and say it's at a missile every minute and 30 seconds. A missile. And we're talking about missiles the size of buses. So what is truly going on? That's just a little tiny sample. Of course, we had the Russian submarine that avoided a planetary catastrophe, but it's so top secret that we don't even know what that submission was. Nobody knows anything about that research sub. It caught on fire. 14 sailors, of course, at their Russian funerals. That one of the generals said that these men died heroes averting a planetary catastrophe. But yet we don't get any news on what that planetary catastrophe was. There are some really big things going on. And do you think, and you can put this in the chat, do you think if there was something, one, headed towards Earth, or two, the Earth was crumbling from the inside, the poles are about to shift, or any kind of natural disaster that would really wipe us out, do you think that they would tell us? Look at how we act when we ran out of toilet paper. Okay? Now imagine they tell us, hey, there's a 2% chance that our entire planet might be wiped out by an asteroid. But we're going to spend the next 5 years trying to figure out how to not do it, right? Think about how much people would go absolutely nuts. We're already at a point where some cities, in fact, we just had 60 principals in Minneapolis all go on strike. Principals of middle schools, elementary, high school, even a couple colleges came there and they said, we're done. The city's out of control. The police aren't even patrolling anymore. So there's a lot here. So again, that's the monologue. I don't normally go off, but I just wanted to kind of put some stuff in there because I know we gained about 1,000 people over our break. So I appreciate all you guys sharing it out. It says China said Friday was conducting military exercises near the Taiwan Strait as a top U.S. diplomat visits a self-ruled island in the move that angered Beijing. Relations between the United States and China are at their lowest point in decades, with the two sides clashing over a range of trade, military, and security issues, as well as the CV. It says China's Communist Leadership balks at any recognition of Taiwan, which has been ruled separately from China since the end of the civil conflict in 1949. It says, and has mounted a decades-long policy of marginalizing the democratic island. It says U.S. Undersecretary of State for Economic Growth, Energy, and the Environment landed in Taipei on Thursday for a 3-day visit, the highest-ranking State Department official to visit in 40 years. It says at a press conference on Friday morning, a Chinese Defense Ministry spokesman said Beijing was, quote, holding actual combat exercises near the Taiwan Strait. Live fire, actual combat exercises right there. Are they trying to, saber rattle? They're not so much like Russia, with their stuff, or at least what they've done in the past. China, I think, might take some action here pretty soon, especially since you considered the previous things that have been saying. In fact, one of their lead military people said that basically they are forming their military and they're about to go to some sort of conflict. And then you have, of course, experts saying, experts that know a whole lot of China. We actually covered, I forget his name, said that they are basically forming their military to take out Americans. That's not a quote from me. That's me paraphrasing from an actual expert that is saying that he believes they are completely doing everything they're doing for a reason, and it's guided right towards us. And I mean us with 2 dots. It says this is a legitimate and necessary action taken to safeguard China's sovereignty and territorial integrity in response to the current situation in the Taiwan Strait, Ren Jiaquang told reporters. Ren also warned that the Chinese army had, quote, sufficient ability to counter any external threat or challenge from Taiwan separatists. So it sounds like they're about to take it. Kind of like the Russia and the Crimea thing. So we'll see what happens. What do you guys think? I would love to hear your opinion. I never claim to be always right. Never claim to be the smartest person in the world. Some of this stuff I believe is common sense and you guys agree with me. Some of it you don't, and that's totally fine. Show me in the comments below. Then we, of course, have Japan's defense ministry launching protocol for UFO sightings. This is pretty left field, I have to say. It says, among UFO aficionados in Japan, summer is seen as the season for flying saucers. In mid-June, Japan's well-known UFO hotspots didn't disappoint after a mysterious, unidentifiable white... Gosh, I just can't... How now, brown cow? After a mysterious, unidentifiable white balloon with a connected cross-propeller-shaped object was spotted in the skies of the northeastern city of Sendai and Fukushima Prefecture. The mysterious aerial object was observed at 7 a.m., and some witnesses say it resembled a hot air balloon. Japan's meteorological agency denied any observational equipment being dispatched by the agency. Miyagi Prefectural Police flew a helicopter to investigate the object, but was forced to turn around due to poor weather conditions. So was it a balloon in poor weather conditions, or was it an enemy and a new type of craft? I bet you that their government probably doesn't think it's a UFO. They are probably thinking that this is some sort of new tech. And if you see what DARPA and Northrop Grumman and Boeing and all of these guys are doing, there's some stuff coming out that is just going to blow your mind when we see it in action. And hopefully we don't see it in action in our cities. If we do, hopefully it's on the defensive. It says, police say the aerial object disappeared without causing any danger to commercial flight paths. Again, this was such a big deal that this is, this sent waves through a lot of different places. So this isn't just like some guy calling in, oh, I see something. This sent waves through the actual local, flight radar. Everything went off. Everything dinged for this one. So pretty weird stuff. I'm going to be following it. In fact, this is something that I personally think is very interesting, and I always like to see the end of this. As of now, they still don't know what the heck it was. Again, they're kicking up all of this UFO talk with the talk of space, Space Force. You've got them, Pentagon and DoD, saying that Russia and China have now weaponized space, and they're saying it out in the open that they have directed. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, Mountain Dew. Now there's going to be a whole lot more stuff that they can actually say in press conferences, and I have an inkling that in the next month and a half, we're going to even have more news. And in the next 6 months, as far as news goes, there's going to be some very big news about how it's going to affect us. Explosion reportedly rocks Hez Arms Depot in southern Leb. Now, this is, of course, extremely filtered on this platform. Again, on one of them. One of them is great. One of them is algorithmically flawed. It says, according to local media reports, the blast has caused a local gas station to catch fire. The preliminary reports did not indicate the exact number of casualties. It says that Hez's, and you guys all know the word, Hez's Arms Depot in the village of Ankina in southern Leb has been rocked by a huge explosion. It says routers reported citing security sources. These sources added that the blast was caused, get this, by a technical error. What about the other 20 explosions in the last week? That's what I kind of think in my head. All of these gas lines. Man, the gas companies must have lawsuits upon lawsuits. And we're talking all over the world. These gas lines are blowing up. They even at first came out after the, I want to say Venezuela had another huge, crazy blowout at one of their power substations. And they even at first, the local media said that it was gas lines underneath the electric substation, and then they changed it. They figured out what they could actually say about it. If you guys saw the video of that, which I think we shared, absolutely crazy. Blue, just crazy stuff. It looked like an invisible ray was just welding it. Nuts. But of course, a lot of this technology is invisible. It's kind of microwave, millimeter technology. So, who knows? Anyways, you guys can finish this article here on marfooglenews.com. You can actually go down. If we ever hit an article and we don't hit the entire thing, say it's long or 10 pages long, you can always go on your own due diligence mission and read the rest. With that being said, our next one, this is actually the video of it. So, Dex, do you think... I didn't know if we could actually show this. Can we show it in Twitter? I'm going to show it in Twitter.
It's on Twitter. So if you show Twitter, we're probably fine there. And we'll have it on the website as well.
Okay, check this out. So obviously you see the gigantic cloud coming out of that. It just seems weird that these are all happening, and we end up looking back at the map and saying, there's some really weird things right in this little tiny area that's getting, kind of blown to smithereens. Now, somebody said, Dex, this is funny because you were involved, but I never even, I kind of got into it with somebody on Twitter for a couple hours actually. And we ended up actually coming to kind of terms with each other. He wasn't being a troll necessarily. He was actually saying some stuff, and he basically said that he goes, well, he got mad about this Michelle Obama post I did, and I did the hands, and I said, is this just the hands? And I said, is this man or woman? Mind you, after looking back, and I even posted this on Twitter, I said it wasn't the most mature thing to do. It was pictures of hands, and I said, can you take a guess? Is this whose hands are these? And 90% of people said men. They didn't know who it was. Some guessed Kamala, some guessed Michelle, whatever. There was only a couple out of all of them. Most people thought it was a man. It wasn't the most mature. But then he said, what's the effing point of this? And got really angry right off the bat. Then went down a list and then brought out all this stuff like out of nowhere. Like, you put that the Beirut thing was a submarine and this and that. And I said, no, I didn't. I said, that's what I think. And I made sure to make sure that you guys know that was my opinion. But not only that, I'm sticking to it because it was on the water. I've seen the pictures. It looks like it's directional. And this is just my opinion, again. But he said, oh, well, you showed that fake video of the missile hitting and everything. I said, yeah, but I also was the first with Dex to debunk it, or one of the first. In fact, Dex went down and did everything, and we did it right after. He goes, well, why is it still there? I don't delete my mistakes. And as you guys know, if I make a mistake and I show you something, I go back and I correct it. I even had some of my friends that showed the same thing, and they're like, why would you do that? Because I correct my mistakes. And again, then ended up discussing, and then we came to terms, and now it looks like the person is now a part of it again. Said that their friend that they really trust turned them on to Marfoogle News, and that friend is ashamed because we're not as accurate as they said. I will challenge anybody to call out something that we blatantly said wrong and have not corrected to this day. Dex, you remember you wanted that. We both wanted that to be true, because then we would our feelings about that would have been true.
Well, yeah, not only that, but with that rocket one, we even called it while we showed it, right? We questioned it while we showed it.
What he was saying is on Twitter, but if I make a mistake, I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to delete it and act like I didn't make a mistake. With this, we don't know yet. We'll check back on it. But all I'm saying is, if you guys see something that's blatantly wrong on our show, call us out. They were saying, oh, well, you said it was a submarine. Get this, though. They said you're saying unsubstantiated information. You want to hear something crazy about Beirut? On August 15th, they started the investigation. They still haven't finished. We don't have substantiated information. I said, I turned it around on him. I said, okay, now tell me what proof you have that it was not a submarine. Which, by the way, the day before that happened, there were P-8 Poseidons above and flying around Beirut. U.S. ones flying around. But get this. Those are sub-hunters, right? What proof do you have that it wasn't a submarine? Nobody has proof of anything, because guess what? The investigation isn't done. The FBI just joined it after they did all this stuff. They wouldn't even let people in there because there's the cultural conflict there. So the right investigators couldn't even get in there for a few days. But I basically said, hey, okay, so where is your evidence that I am wrong? Because there is no substantiated evidence. And then we ended up going into this back and forth. And then he said, but you can't be opinionated and be news. You can't have an opinion in news. I said, what news isn't opinionated? If you take Fox and CNN, you're basically taking two opinion networks. They have an opinion. I said, if you call T-Man disgusting or a hero, that's an opinion. Not just say he has orange hair and he is 6'1", he's 6'1" tall. That's a fact. An opinion is that the guy is disgusting. Every news network from here to China has an opinion or a bias or an agenda. We try not to have an agenda. That means we are leading you somewhere. We're just telling you what we think, and we're asking you to tell us what you do. So I just wanted to clear that up. That was a 4-hour argument on Twitter, and the guy was making valid points, but again, that's why I say, if you guys see something that we blatantly shout out wrong, we'll correct it. I'll stand 100% behind my mistakes, and I'll say I own it. With that being said, conniption fit, Jet Isaiah boy name or Jet Lila girl name? So I'm pretty sure we know what it is. We still haven't looked in the little envelope. We think we know what it is because the last ultrasound lady said a pronoun. So we think we know what it is. But again, if you guys, just a quick update, my wife is essentially having, she was borderline preeclampsia. So that's what's going on, and basically chilling at 37 weeks. So anyways, and then Calm Beast, corruption is out of control. What a world. And then Militia84, Lady Mel, thank you for being here. Jack Tree, Dev Bear B, Palindalian, Susan Big, Renegade Petey. I heard that you did send me a DVD of Greenland. That documentary about the ice trek, not the movie, right? I have not gotten my mail yet, but when I do, I will make sure. That is probably the coolest thing ever. Just a Cat Mom, Spenny 340, thank you guys. And then I did miss some people up above. I apologize. I will make sure to look at that here in a minute. Just me. We've got Anonymous Rebel, Wide Awake and Angry, again tonight. Thank you so much for being here. April Saffel, thank you so much. Mech and Phil, and then Minnesota Man 44. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. And then welcome Jen to the fam. Jodine Lejeune, Young Hype Beast, thank you for subscribing. Hector Baltazar, thank you for subscribing. Michael Blackwell, Linda C. Light Beamer, thank you for being the last one out last show. Says keeping it true and full of info, Marv. Thank you. Okay. Other than that, if you guys want to protect yourself against any kind of EMP, which we've talked about numerous times, we've shown you that not only is it a real threat, but it is something that is popping up in the news even more now. Not only because of DHS telling us that every American should have 6 months to a year of food, but them actually going into what China is actually doing physically. We've shown you that a lot of this stuff does not get reported. We showed you the actual NERC report. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you want to protect yourself against an electromagnetic pulse, this can actually protect or ground up to an E1, E2, or E3. All three phases of an EMP ground the signal before it fries any of your devices. Now you can get one of these for your car, your home, your generator, even your solar system. People think, oh, I've got a solar system, I'll be good. If that's fried, no, you won't. If you have a generator, then you can actually run the stuff that's protected in your house and your car to go to your bug out spot. And your CB radio, now that it's protected, it's all good as well. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is the same company that is now currently working with agencies like DHS, DOD, and officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. All right, with that out of the way, let's get our first caller. The number is 224-400-MARF. This is a live call-in show. If you guys have not called in yet, this would be a good time. It looks like we have... Hold on here. That could be right. Do we have Yin? Let's see.
Yes, Adam.
Is it? Okay, good. Yinzer, what is going on? Calling from Pennsylvania. You can let yourself in now.
Hello?
Yinzer, what's going on?
It's going, Mars. Not just living life.
So I believe, so why I'm thinking in my head, I believe the last show we did, you were in the chat saying, I am HIMARS. Is that right? You were part of HIMARS.
Yeah.
I'll explain to you guys what HIMARS is, or I'll let you explain, actually. Can you tell them what HIMARS stands for?
Well, HIMARS is just one of the vehicles. Like the vehicle the article showed, that's the HIMARS vehicle itself. There's two different types, a technical term and the nickname. High Mobility Rocket Systems. That's generally what it means. I'd have to go back in my manuals I still have to learn the exact name of it, but there's a technical name, which is M2, whatever it is. When I was stationed over in Korea, that's what we had, is the M27 Alpha 1s, which was the tracked vehicle. Whenever 13 mics were first coming out, that's the vehicle they developed with them, M270 Alpha 1s. They held 2 6-packs of just rockets or 2 ATACMs. ATACMs were the controlled rockets that were able to fly 50 to 75 miles away. And the rockets, they were 45 to 60 miles away. That's general distance, how far they could travel out of the vehicle. It takes 3 crew members to operate it. The commander, which is the section chief, he would be E5 or E6. Then you got the gunner, which would be E3 to E4, possibly an E5, depending on how new. And you got the driver, which would be E1 to E3. That's private first class, all the way up to staff sergeant, from left to right.
Now,
and
where are they putting this now? Because we went over this on. Is this the same kind of systems that they were placing in Alaska? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Why do you think they're doing that? And can I get your opinion on that?
Well, the trucks, the wheeled vehicles. When I was stationed down at Fort Bragg on my second part of my term, my 3-year term, we were always ready to deploy at a 72-hour notice. And HIMARS, which was the wheeled vehicle of the 2 vehicles, you'd be able to deploy out of a C-130. You'd deflate the tires, you'd pack your bags, load up, and we'd be anywhere in the world within 72 hours.
You're saying drop out of a plane?
Part of an airborne unit.
You would drop these vehicles out of a plane?
Yes, if you look at the article, you see the truck. It looks like a 6-wheeled truck. That's it. You'd be able to deploy them out of a C-130 at a drop zone, no matter where it's at, because you can't really drop a tracked vehicle, which is the M270 Alpha 1. You can Google it. It'd give you a better idea. You can't drop those out of a C-130. 1, they're too heavy. 2, good luck landing a tracked vehicle out of midair. But the HIMARS, which is the wheeled vehicle, you can deflate the tires. They have systems on there to auto-inflate the tires. And whenever you land on the ground, you just auto-inflate and you'd be on the go in a matter of 15 minutes. So it's more mobile.
Well, now let me ask you, why do you think they're placing this obviously they are saying that they're doing these exercises and taking HIMARS up to Alaska. If they only go 50 to 70 miles, or I guess, why would you think, other than the drill, or even with the drill, why would they need them there? And I guess, is that because that would be an invasion point? What do you think?
Well, if you Googled that article, it's Erickson Air Base, which it's not directly on Alaskan soil. It's one of the islands, if you the follow the line, and there is a borderline, and it's really close to that borderline. And with it being a United States Air Force base, it tells me they're either going to deploy on Russian soil or that it's there just as a contingency. But here's another thing. Without 13 mics, or with 13 mics being there, there's 13 pops, which they are the forward observers. They give you the coordinates, they lay out the area. It's a team effort. Like with 13 Bravos, which are the cannon crews, you would have 13 Foxtrots, the forward observers that would deploy with the infantry. And they give you the coordinates of the cannon fire where you'd hit. When I got in, my chief, which was Staff Sergeant so-and-so, I'm not going to reveal names, but he told me 13 Bravos and 13 Foxtrots were going to be phased out to smaller units because it was just getting obsolete. When cannons would go off, it'd be this is completely irrelevant, but they would have a 15 to 25 meter window to hit. 13 mics, which is the HIMARS units, they would have a 5 to 10 meter window. So it's way more accurate. You know what I'm saying?
Within 30 feet of the target, these things can blow up. Basically, this is extremely accurate systems, and they're putting them there as either a contingency. Obviously, they're saying it's part of Defender Pacific, which, I mean, break it down, you're defending the Pacific. I mean, you can't get pretty much more clear than that. 2020. It sounds like it's there exactly just in case.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
It sounds like they're there just in case of an invasion, if this was a real event. Now, do you think that they would tell us if they were really putting it there because they think somebody was going to invade, or do you think that they would call it a drill?
Oh, no.
Now, let me ask you this.
No.
Let me ask you one more thing, and I'll ask all military here. Have you ever been on a drill that was actually a real operation that they called a drill because they didn't want the public to know it was an actual operation?
I can answer that one. When I was stationed in Korea, we went on a field problem, and we were about 5 to 10 miles away from the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and we were there doing a live fire, showing our teeth to North Korea. Hey, look what we can do. That was a 2-week field op, and we went through briefings, and it was laying out the area, stuff like that. That's when I first called. That's when they would use drones, lay out the area. They'd give you coordinates, everything you were going to do, live fire drills. Yeah. And so essentially, they could be there as a contingency, but how close it is, I don't think it's there for a contingency or just an exercise. I think something bigger is coming from that way, in my opinion.
Well, no, that is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to ask. And then other military, obviously, a lot of things have been declassified that now we know was an actual operation that went on around the world. And, of course, they can funnel whatever news they want to us. I mean, really, they control all, 5 or 6 families control all of the media. So if they want a script, put out through all of them, that just happens. But as far as now, it's declassified that some of the ones people never got credit for. There were soldiers who died for their countries, and I'm talking about, multiple countries, and they never got credit until after, post-mortem, because nobody knew for 30 years that they even did this operation. It was a exercise, and they just disappeared off the face of the planet. Their families were told that, MIA, this and that, all sorts of things, and they didn't even get medals until post-mortem because of this same thing. So when I see a drill like this, I very well say of course there's a chance that this is not a drill or an exercise. It very well could be them just setting up in the United States a defensive barrier. Think about it. It's a U.S. deployment. They can't deploy unless there's a reason to, or an exercise. Well, thank you for calling in, and your experience here is definitely welcome, and thank you so much for calling. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go, Yinzer Prepper?
I'm just everyone needs to stand together here. It's a team effort. If you love this country, I'm not saying you have to like the government. I 100% agree. There's corruption all through it. But it's the land you live on, you walk on, and if you love this land, period, whatever side of the spectrum you're on, we need to stand together, put aside our differences, and see what's coming. Just putting that out there. And also, thank you, Marf and Dex, for having me on. I love calling into the show, and I love watching the show.
Well, thank you so much. And as part of our military, thank you for your service and appreciate you. And please don't be a stranger. Thank you again. God bless. That was Yinzer Prepper. So Yinzer Prepper again was part of this, and we talked about this last time. And of course, in the chat, everybody was like, call in. You're HIMARS, or you were HIMARS. Of course, when we were talking about this just a couple days ago, because the thing is this was very quiet. They sent these high mobility artillery rocket systems up to Alaska under Defender Pacific. Who even heard of Defender Pacific? This is a U.S. deployment that they can do under an exercise. Yeah, just saying. Obviously, it is an exercise. But if it wasn't, we wouldn't know any better. And that's what they would do to, kind of calm any kind of panic. So we'll get right back into the news. Again, good call. Thank you so much. Laura Smith, what is going on? Andrew Simpson, all leaders are puppets, fully complacent. I think that's what it said. I love the United States of America. Thank you, caller, says Janet Morris. Thank you for your service, Ben Dinnett. Well, again, there's a lot of military in our audience, so they appreciate that. Again, we appreciate you. Conniption Fit, Sailing Dogs, thank you guys for supporting. I can't see YouTube again, but I will be checking over there as well. Marky Sparky, it looks like, actually. So Marky Sparky, the best and the only real true news I watch. Well, thank you, Marky Sparky. I appreciate that. And then One Drummer Guy, I appreciate your support here. Really, really, thank you. You can always write something there. And then Marky Sparky again, thanks. Mighty Mouse, thank you so much for being here so long here. Chris Vigil, and then Texacali says, feels like the calm before the storm. Something big is coming. Can you feel it? I can definitely feel it. And we've told, how many things do people have to see to not put the puzzle together? That's like you literally have an entire 1,000 puzzle piece there, and there's one missing. And it's that one that dropped behind the couch, whatever it is. You can see the damn picture. And everybody else can too. You're just missing that one little piece. We're not even missing many pieces. We're missing the time. If that piece was the timeline, that's what we're missing. And then you've got the Sea-Star Goddess says, missed you, Marf Dex Mods Show. What is going on? Thank you, Sea-Star. And then Grim Survival, thanks again for your time, work, much love. Ed Winston, thank you. Backwoods Ingenuity, again, thank you. And then End Times, super appreciate it. Love you, Foogle fam. Fam, much love, always and forever. We need everyone who is awake to make this a better world. Adam and Dex, you guys are chosen by God to hold the charge against evil. And by the way, I got my affiliate on DLive. End Times, I'm so glad you're getting into the creator space. You need to be. You and Cha Money and the whole crew that you guys have over there is so positive, and you guys deserve your own audiences. Have Character Now says, congrats on your new soon-to-be. Baby says, have another one. Gorgeous family you have. Smart parents. Well, thank you. Deep Fried Ohio Gravy, one of my first subscribers ever, is stopping in tonight. Says, the time has come to make your stand. Persecution has come to us that speak truth. I will finish this race and encourage you to stay strong as you head towards the finish line. Keep the faith and fight the good fight. That means a lot, Deep Fried. I know that you have a busy life and you got a lot going on, but you've literally been here since the start. So thank you so much. Susie Touchstone, thank you for your work. And then NGC 6543. We are all entitled to our wrong opinions. I agree with that. Again, we all have them and they all stink. All right, let's get back into this. We've got many more stories. It says, police identify woman suspected of sending letter with ricin to the White House. It says on the September 19th, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation said that an investigation was underway with a suspicious letter containing the deadly poison addressed to U.S. Pres DT. So she sent ricin to the White House. It says Canadian police have identified the woman who allegedly sent a package containing this ricin to the White House. She's from Quebec. Why? Now, here's one thing that I have noticed, though, is a lot of Canadians care about this this coming vote just as much as we do, because it feels like there's been a worldwide kind of lead that says that ours matters for everybody, which technically it does. The United States has always had a dominant position with NATO and the entire world and all of the different stuff going on. But I am surprised, though, Canada of all places, to be so passionate, somebody to hate him so much, probably watches a lot of U.S. media. That's the only thing I would say. I mean, you don't have to be a fan of him, but I'm just surprised that they picked up on so much hate, so to actually try to take somebody out. Like, that's scary. You can only imagine what has been drilled into their heads. Both sides, I believe, have been brainwashed in a lot of ways. And some people don't realize it, but when you are so far to one side, that's not good. You should be open to everything and be trying to see the other person's argument. On the other hand, there are people that are being so absurd that, yeah, when it's beyond common sense or even common morality, then, yeah, I have a problem with it as well. So it says she was detained when trying to enter the U.S. from Canada at the Peace Bridge border crossing near Buffalo, New York on the 20th of September, so 2 days ago. This is just one of many. We've seen DT get pulled off stage during live speeches. We've seen stuff go down outside the White House. We've seen, of course, scheduled meetings just totally get, nobody knows what happens to him. We've seen it multiple times. He obviously has a lot of enemies, as he says, and I bet you there's been some stuff that we never even hear about. Secret Service takes care of it. FBI, they're listening to everything we say. So they probably have some of this stuff taken care of before it even starts. I mean, if you look at what the NSA is doing, it's insane stuff. What do you guys think about it, though? Again, we have people from the left and right in here. I would just appreciate that you guys just find common ground and love each other and get past the fact that, obviously a lot of people, both sides, think it's disgusting you're voting for that other person. Let's get past that, because I think we're all here in general. We need to just move forward and be positive. We can take a break from all that stress outside and be friends in 1-2 hour period of your life for, that's the one place you can go is here. Huge California wildfire threatening more than 1,000 homes. Now, we've been covering this. Of course, more acres have been burned this year than any previous year. In fact, all three West Coast states, you got California, Oregon, and California, all going just absolutely nuts. And Washington, It says, out of Los Angeles, a wildfire scorching its way through brush and timber from the mountains to the desert northeast of Los Angeles threatened more than 1,000 homes on Tuesday as crews across the West battled dozens of other major blazes. The Bobcat fire in Southern California was advancing at 1 to 2 miles per hour at times and threatened the Mojave Desert town of Pear Blossom. It says, after burning to the Antelope Alley foothill area. You're talking about a huge area here. It says the blaze that began September 6th has destroyed or damaged at least 29 homes and other buildings, with the toll rising to possibly 85 when damage assessment teams can complete their work this week. It says Cheryl Poindexter lost her desert home. It says, quote, that fire came over the hill so hard and so fast, I turned around and I barely got my 8 dogs and my 2 parrots out. Okay, they must have picked this lady on purpose. Did I really just read that? It came over there, turned around, I barely got my 8 dogs. 8. Holy moly. I have 1, and he is a handful. 8. But no children, I'm sure. That is scary, though. Could you imagine trying to get 1 dog out, let alone 8? That would be scary as all hell. And 2 parrots. Can you see, like, just running out with parrot leashes just tied to her belt, 8 dogs? You'd have to have a sled. It's nuts. Either way, if you guys are affected, please let us know. Send us pictures, send us video. If you are still affected by the fires, let us know. Take any video that you feel would share with the rest of the Foogle family and send it to us at Marfoogle on Twitter, or you can always go to adam@marfooglenews.com, or you can send it to Dex at dex@marfooglenews.com. Okay, so this is just yet another one, and of course, I've said it for years, along with a lot of the colleagues, along with myself on YouTube here. These phones are so advanced, and as far as upstream surveillance is what they call it. And it is surveilling you at all times. But check this out. It says, look out for this orange dot on your iPhone. Someone is listening in. It says, if you've ever panicked that an app might be listening through your iPhone's microphone, Apple has got you covered. The latest iPhone update adds a new, quote, warning dot that alerts you whenever your microphone or camera is activated. This little orange dot means that you are being recorded. That's right, that you are being recorded with these apps. And it is so prevalent, and there are so many apps that actually record what you are doing and what you are saying in your home, that this became a thing. You see, what they do is in the background, they're listening, and somewhere this is going into compressed audio, and they are taking it, and some of them are using algorithms to pick out what you like, what you are talking about. Say you say, in fact, it just happened to me the other day. I was talking about a very specific thing that would never pop up on an ad. I never typed it into anything. It was the little square piece that went into my tripod. It's basically the clip that goes in it, and it's a very specific tripod. This clip goes in, and it actually screws onto the bottom of the camera and then clips into a very particular, it's not a standard set, it's a square one. It's from a 15-year-old tripod. It showed me ads for the very specific plate on my phone after talking about it within a minute and a half. And it showed me on a scroller. So it knew I said that and then added it into the queue. If you're noticing that a lot, they've denied it and denied it and denied it. Soon you will be able to figure out why. That orange dot is going to be going off all the time on that new update, because most of the apps all have third-party connections with these ad companies, and they are listening in, passing on that info in real time, and trying to sell you stuff. Watch. I don't know if you guys heard that the text sound, which, watch, it's like a text like, you can buy this, play it at Kenmore Camera or something. It heard me. That's creepy. So, pretty crazy stuff. It says, that means if any app is surreptitiously recording you, you'll know about it. It's all part of the new iPhone update. Find out how to download iOS right now, blah, blah, blah. It says, in iOS 14, an orange dot will appear in the upper right-hand corner of the screen when the microphone or camera is activated. By swiping into your control center, you'll be able to see the details about which app is using the microphone. Now, here's something. It says if you suspect something is up, you should check the app's permission and settings. You can deny specific apps access to your microphone or camera, for instance. And it says, if you're really worried, you could just delete the app altogether. It says, quote, privacy is a fundamental human right at the core of everything we do, Apple explained, which is really funny because on their devices more than other in the last 2 years, we've reported Facebook. There was a glitch that let somebody know that there was a Facebook thing that went around. Dex, do you remember when that was that we had that story where it accidentally showed the side of it and the gentleman's camera was on and it was recording him front ways? And it was live streaming from his phone from Facebook, and it was behind the apps, and he wouldn't have seen it if he didn't do that little thing. And it then ended up, people confirmed it. The newspaper that broke the story confirmed it, and then a bunch of others did it as well. Everybody was getting recorded on their phone through Facebook. Was it Facebook? It was Facebook, right?
Yes, it was Facebook, Adam. And I don't remember the exact date, but it was a bug that was out, and it revealed the fact that they had access to the camera and were running the camera while you were just using Facebook, not using the camera in Facebook, but Facebook was still using the camera.
By the way, another way that you can tell this is if you have a newer phone, if you have an older phone, eventually your battery gets crappier every time you charge your phones. And if you're like most people now, you're pretty much next to an outlet all day. Hopefully you're not. But again, if you are, those batteries get worse and worse. But one way you can tell that something might be drawing is if that power is unusual. Most people know, like, oh, this usually lasts about 4 hours or 6 hours. If it lasts an hour, there might be something drawing power. You should go look at your power settings. There's different apps that you can download that will actually monitor that. Check if your power is being used, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. Check your background usage. These are all things that if you don't know how to do, grab a millennial near you and have them show you how, because it's really important that, one, you're not recorded, and two, you're not listened to. So everybody should be getting on the same page, especially if people want to organize and get together and really do something great. Probably want to do it in private. An indicator appears, and then, of course, that orange dot will tell you. I would say just in general, all of these things are listening, so just keep that in mind. What do you guys think? Have you seen the new orange dot? Have you seen it yet? Have you had it go off? Is there a specific app that you know this is listening? And what's funny is it's the orange dot for every other app, but what about the Apple listening? Do you think they're going to tell you? Do you think they're going to turn it on when they're listening? They say their new thing is privacy, but since they have the source code and nobody else can access it, Apple's one of the hardest things to hack. They could be listening just as well. The E911 chips that are in these things, I bet they're going to show you when everybody else is listening, but not themselves. Either way, another thing that you can do if you don't want to be listened to or don't want to be tracked or traced is you can look into an EDEC bag or a Faraday bag. These things you basically put your phone or device in, and nothing goes in, nothing goes out. There's no upstream surveillance. Upstream surveillance is exactly what Edward Snowden ended up talking about, and why one of my biggest videos to date is at over 1 million views, is I told people during the T-Man alert to turn off their phone. The reason why, and I called this 24 hours before Edward Snowden and John McAfee ended up talking about it, is because they can actually send messages through that as well. So say your phone goes off and it's an alert that's mandatory for the entire country, and it's supposedly training you for, an emergency broadcast system. Guess what you have to do to get off of that on your phone? You have to press OK. There's no way around it. It's mandatory. It's government done. Every single phone company that did it, I don't know if you remember this, October 3rd of 2018 or 2019, that alert went out, and they made a big deal because T-Man was the one doing it, right? Actually, it was FEMA. And FEMA could send you that thing. Well, when you press OK, not only is your forward-facing camera looking at you, but you're pressing a button confirming you see it, and boom. They just got all of the Walmart phones, everybody who is inside this country that might not be legally, there's a very big possibility, and this is what Edward Snowden said 24 hours after I did, and that's why that video went so wild, is Edward Snowden actually confirmed my video. And basically what they can do is take a picture, take your irises, take your face scan, all that with one push of a button. Because you're not going to sit there and go like this and try to find the button without looking at it. You're going to look straight at it. You're going to acknowledge it. You're going to press OK. And then boom. Even if it's a burner phone, they got the owner of that burner phone. So they can attach burner phone to a person, a face, and a name and everything. Go back to that video if you don't get it. It's explained in detail on that one. And again, 24 hours before that, I was told by our best source ever, and I was lucky because I got that information early. You guys, some of you probably found me through that. Again, though, if you do want to get one of those bags, again, this is one of the best companies out there, marfuglenews.com/edec. If you use the savings code Marfoogle, you will get a discount and you will be helping out the show. We're going to get into Graham. GOP has votes to confirm T-Man court pick by November 3rd. Now, I'm not going to hit this in detail again, but this is pretty crazy stuff, talking about dying wishes and all this other stuff. Let's get to our next caller. Looks like we have Bones and Tubbs Show calling from Ohio. Bones and Tubbs Show, you are live. Bones and Tubbs, you're live.
Hey, can you hear me, Marv?
Hey, how are you doing? And now, you are talking about the Anons. Let's just go by Anons. We all know what letter it is. Just because they are actually being taken off right now as we speak off of platforms. So,
right.
Go ahead, Bones and Tubbs. Why don't you spit out what your opinion is here, and I'll pull up a link.
Well, first of all, it's really nice to talk to you. I told Dax the same thing. It's nice to put conversation to the countless hours of shows we watch. You guys do a great thing. We love it.
Oh, thanks.
The best friend of mine had really taken a lot of inspiration from your show. We started our own podcast, and on today's episode, we were talking about the possibility that the Anon movement might be the next Fantastic Freddy, in the way that they've used Fantastic Freddy's in the past to garner popular support in order to bring in something that we would normally not want, i.e. like a technocratic takeover. So, as a thought exercise, maybe the people that are in control, i.e. the technocrats that are now starting to show their faces, either helped or allowed and watched silently for these, let's just call them child snippers, to get into power and then pull the rug out from under them, let us all see them through dumps via the Anon movement, and then everybody gets upset, like, yeah, we got to get these people out of here. So then they bring them out. They may or may not have a 3-day of darkness period where they show all their crimes and their confessions. We all support them moving out, and then we're like, hey, great. What do we replace it with? Oh, we have a technocratic one world order.
Well, as far as that goes, I'm sure there are going to be people that agree with you and people that say don't even question. I don't think that it's right to not question things and all things, especially things where you don't know who started it, this and that. I believe that there are people that have made their entire career on YouTube surrounding it, and I would think that, they would be the first ones who would want to address any kind of questions like that they could. But I know I know some of my friends have covered it, and one thing that I don't think that they're even able to do, and I don't think they'll admit it, is they can't question it. If they question it, it's like suicide.
Right. There's a huge thing inside of their movement that is disinformation is key, and that's all you see all the time. We've been getting things on our Instagram and on our Twitter about different anon posts where they say like, oh, something's going to happen Sunday or Monday, you know, this or that's going to happen. Well, then it doesn't happen, and they have plausible deniability to say, hey, we told you that disinformation was key, so here we are. You can't ever question the actions of the movement because they told you up front, like, hey, we're going to lie to you. Why would you have to lie if you were a white hat movement, is my question.
Well, again, I think that it's confirmation bias too. Some people took the disinformation is key literally, and then some people took it backwards, and then some people took it another way. So when there are mistakes, yes, they can go, no, but remember they said disinformation is key, and that's what you see posted if there's ever like what some people call a mistake. But it's so vague that that's actually, it's pretty rare that happens. But here's the thing with the Anon movement, the people in it are really what matters. It's not so much the posts. I see more people that are involved with it that claim that they are it, that are actually doing all the digging. The posts will start people off on it. I get what you're saying, but I don't think anybody's on the same page in that movement. And I hate to say that, but I think everybody's their own researcher in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think that the people are to blame. I think that they manage, if it is a psyop, like I'm saying, it's a thought exercise. I don't know for sure, as I'm sure no one does. But if it is a psyop, they manage to pull the best of the best. You know, there are a lot of people that love the country, that love their people, that are all about getting out of the left-right paradigm. They just want to fix the problems, you know, and you can't blame them for that. That's just it's a moral issue, and I think that's great.
Well,
but I just want them to be cautious.
One thing that really pulled my strings was that Michael Flynn was saying the slogans that you've got now. All of a sudden, you got people that are actually in the White House doing it. Before, it was like, oh, they claim to be somebody who's been in the White House. Then all of a sudden, you've actually got people that have been in the White House next to the president actually quoting it and going by it. So that's enough confirmation that this is at least some sort of military something. If it's not a PSYOP, it is military white hats. It's got to be one or the other, because now we've got confirmation that somebody in the White House is connected with the Anon movement. At the very least.
Absolutely.
Or they picked it up to use it, never get a good crisis go to waste, or never let a good PSYOP go to waste. So, again, I'll leave it open for people to think about it. It's an open mind. It's a thought exercise. I love how you put that. Well, Bones and Tubbs, I hope that a lot of people share you out. And, again, if you're positive and if you guys like content where you're talking about this kind of stuff and questioning things, might want to go check out Bones and Tubbs show. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
I appreciate the shout out, man. I really do. We've been doing this for a while, and it's like we've heard you guys talk about before. It's hard to hit that 1,000 follower barrier. We're at like 576 right now. But the one thing I do want to add, I think it's important, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, to look into the left-right paradigm. They're using this as a tool of division. We all need to come together and realize what the problem is. You know, there's a problem, or, you know, multiple problems that we can all solve together. We shouldn't be put into boxes to fight each other.
Exactly. That's why we try to keep this as a neutral space as much as we can. We all have opinions, and we're all going to have arguments. Well, Bones and Tubbs, I appreciate you, and thank you so much for calling in. And again, have a good night. I hope that a lot of Foogle family loved your call, and that you are prosperous from here on out.
Thank you. Take care, and congratulations on the new edition.
Thank you so much. BonesandTubbs.com, Bones and Tubbs Show on YouTube. If you guys want to check it out, feel free to go head over. And then somebody said media is to blame. BG That Truth says media is to blame. Chris D'Angel, stay safe, says Becky D. And then we've got Carl Rushing, Mama of Six, Justice Keys, Mary Tyndall, and Donald Goodall. Thanks for being here. Dick Nixon, Indigo Girl. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. Looks like they've already gained think that's about 100. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys headed over. All right, let's get back to it. That was at least, a call that gets you thinking, a call that gets you asking questions. Graham GLP has votes to confirm T-Man court pick by November 3rd. I'll just make it really quick. Try to be as neutral as possible here. Obviously, RGB had passed, right? AOC was talking about her dying wish, and oh my gosh, can you believe that McConnell said that he didn't even care about her dying wish, and they said that they're going to pick somebody. Just so you know, RGB Ruth, her apparent dying wish was that they would not pick another SCOTUS until the next president. So she passed away, and that they would go, oh, well, it was her dying wish. We should wait until the next president to pick a SCOTUS. And actually going to social media, getting all people fired up like, oh my gosh, what a jerk. He's not going by her dying wish. Go back to the last presidency, which Democratic presidency. You look at Obama, he said it. There's 2016 clip. It happened during his presidency. He says, if you are about the Constitution, all you guys doing the Constitution, we have to nominate and pick one. It's hypocritical. During this one, they can do it. During this one, no. It's her dying wish to wait. Since when, on either side, can we be honoring a dying wish? That's not how the government works. That's just not how it works. I think it's crazy that so many people are like, no, but it's her dying wish. They're not going to recognize that? Does anybody know how the law and government and the Constitution works? Even if you're not constitutional, you're this. Are we just like throwing prayers out there thinking they're just going to go with their dying wish? And what really bothers me is I see a lot of stuff on Facebook and Fakebook and social media. Businesses putting up, rest in peace, this and that. Most people didn't know who she was, and most people weren't even following politics closely enough to know what her job is. Most people don't know politics even slightly well enough to know what her job was. And all these people that jump on one side or the other, both sides, right, saying, oh, screw her, she was a jerk. They don't even know what she was a jerk for. And they don't even know why she was so special. There was some weird stuff there about 12-year-olds and all sorts of stuff. I'll let you guys go into that rabbit hole. But again, why is she a jerk? Why is she a hero? People that don't even know saying, oh, rest in peace. And they're just doing it because all of their peers are doing it and they don't want to feel like they're left out. They don't know anything about politics. I've seen so many statements that I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. And it's because they are so clueless, they're just doing it because the mob is doing it. And I mean it on both sides. How many times in the last 6 months have you seen people that you even know saying stuff that doesn't even make sense and they're just doing it? It's not like they're trying to look cool. They're just trying to look like they're not an idiot, I guess. I don't know. But in the process, they look even stupider because they don't know what they're talking about. I digress. It says Republicans have the vote to confirm President DT's Supreme Court pick before the November 3rd event. It says, according to the Senate Judiciary Chairman, who will shepherd the nomination through the chamber. It says, quote, the nominee is going to be supported by every Republican in the Judiciary Committee. Chairman Lindsey Graham told Fox News late Monday. It says, we've got the votes to confirm the justice on the floor of the Senate and that's what's coming. It says that T-Man is expected to announce his choice to replace. By the way, I just want you guys to know, you know exactly what I'm talking about as far as people not knowing politics and saying this or saying that. Both sides. You don't even know what the lady was about. Go do some research first. Either way. And it applies to everything. And that's why we're in the mess we're in right now, is because people aren't fact-checking. They're not waiting for body cams. They're not waiting for anything. They're not waiting for anything. People just jump on the bandwagon and go, I'm riding it all the way through. In the same way that people jumped on Seahawks bandwagon when we were going to Super Bowl. People in, every state were like, Seahawks! I'm a Seahawks fan now. Really? Why? They're winning? That's not why you're a Seahawks fan. But that's what people do. The Charlie abruptly removes guidance about airborne CV transmission. So this is its whole new ballgame. We need to do a D-Live show only about this. I just talked to another creator, and normally I would shout him out a million times, but I don't know if he wants this view out. But he had a thought too, and I think it's pretty crazy too. And this is a thought exercise. What if this time around is not that bad? There's a few reasons why that this could be extremely real instead of what most people that I know think this is, that it's over, There's a couple ways that this could be realer than we know and could be the actual pandemic that we fear. One is that it was designed to evolve and actually come back around on us. If people that have seen or people that called us, the nurses, and you guys heard those calls, said that they took x-rays of the lungs and it looked like there was glass in them, right? We can barely talk about this because it's, if you go against. So actually I'm going to go for a thought exercise here. Say that this time around it's not that bad. But what if it evolves and they know it's going to evolve and they know it's going to wipe out a third or 2/3 of humanity, right? Just hypothetically. And that's why they're setting it up in place. That would change some things and it would change how views go. Second, or they absolutely 100% unequivocally know that somebody made this to distribute it. And they can't just come out and say that this is this, or most of the cover-up is because they know if it is completely uncovered that it would cause a conflict immediately. Throw down countries invading countries. Just two thought little exercises that you could go above. One thing that I think is pretty crazy is how they said that they did this in air. And I said this on Twitter and most people agreed. They called BS. How do you erroneously put that out there, that it's airborne, and then say it's an air? Kind of like you erroneously say that there's a nuclear missile headed towards Hawaii to every single cell phone on Hawaii. That's like an F-up out of all F-ups. And they did it, and they removed it. It says the U.S. Charlie and Prevention on Monday abruptly reverted to its previous guidance about how CV was transmitted, removing language about airborne transmission it had posted just days earlier. So another thing about this, and this person I was talking to today said, what if that was too early? Like, this is going to be the next thing. Or right before the event where we all drop a piece of paper in a box. This was meant for then, not now. The week before, 2 weeks before. And somebody accidentally clicked publish or something, right? Like they were preparing it and then said, oops, oh crap. Oh, did I publish that? Oh, darn. Mr. Ouchie is going to have my butt. That's an ouchie, that's for sure. What do you guys think, though? Again, I would just say we should have a show. There's so much to go over. on our D-Live show again. Crazy stuff. I mean, as far as the facts that we know from their guidelines, if it's 6 feet, 12 feet, 28 feet or whatever, like some places, that's, to me, that sounds like it's airborne in the first place, but whatever. Okay. And then it says, guidelines urge families to avoid trick-or-treating this Halloween. It says the Charlie Dog Charlie and Prevention has released its guidance for celebrating Halloween. Now, Dex, do you think people are going to follow the trick-or-treating, or do you think that this is too much of a tradition? People are going to do it anyways? I'm pretty sure most 99% of people are going to send their kids out.
Well, if I had little kids still, we'd be knocking on doors.
Again, this is just his opinion. It doesn't affect that age group, they say, and this and that. I'll just leave it to you guys.
And aren't you wearing a mask when you're trick-or-treating?
That's a good point. Well, it depends on your costume. You could, but I bet you there's going to be a lot of nurses and doctors for Halloween. Or Freddy Krueger's or whoever. I mean, think about it. They're all going to be wearing masks. That's a really great point. What do you guys think? As long as they're wearing masks, right? That's a big part of Halloween. It's pretty funny. Who knew that they would actually be going along with the guidelines on that one? Let's see here. So it does say the other high-risk activities include having trunk or treat, where treats are handed out from trunks of cars lined up in large parking lots. What? Oh, okay. I guess I'm sorry, but a trunk or treat sounds like a pedophile to me, but okay. I guess I've never seen one of those. People are going to go, oh, yeah, we always do that here in Wonderland or Michael Jackson's house. I've never seen that. Who opens up a trunk full of candy and isn't a pervert? Okay. Attending crowded costume parties held indoors. Going to an indoor haunted house where people may be crowded together and screaming. I guess you do. That makes sense, right? Going on hay rides or tractor rides with people who are not in your household. Using alcohol or drugs, which can cloud judgment and increase risky behaviors. Which, by the way, they are changing all the rules for weddings here, too, saying you can only have 1 hour ceremony, a 3 hour reception. People said that it basically they're turning into gulag rules. Traveling to a rural fall festival that is not in your community if you live in an area with community spread of coffee. I almost made a mistake myself there. It says low risk is carving and decorating pumpkins in your house, decorating your house, apartment, or living space, doing a scavenger hunt in your house, having a virtual Halloween costume contest, having a Halloween movie night with people who you live with, having a scavenger hunt style trick-or-treat search in your household. Basically, everything's in your house. Yeah. I think we get the point. What are you going to do? Are you going to make the choice? I know that there are some people that are saying, hey, they're just trying to keep people safe, and I get that. So there's no wrong answer, really. I don't think there should be. I don't think people should worry about others. But again, if it's your choice to do this, then more power to you. That's your right. That should be your right. If you guys want to protect yourself against cyber attackers, it is more than ever now one of the biggest crimes right now is crimes. In fact, super crazy. A family member and several Foogle family members emailed me about this thing on Facebook. And what it was is they were using a live clip of Mr. Beast during his T-shirt signing thing, and they were playing it as if it was live, and they weren't talking about the contest that they said it was. Basically, it said, if you type in cash, then you'll instantly be entered for $1,000, and basically the first 1,000 will get it. Right when you type in cash, it says you won, you were picked. All you got to do is sign up for our sponsor that's paying for all this. You just got to do a free trial of this thing and put in your credit card number for a validation. Thousands of people have been got by this, and I'll show you real quick. This is bad, and people are getting bad. They think, because Mr. Beast is crazy. He does give out, him and Bill Pulte on Twitter, they give out thousands of dollars. You drop your Cash App to them, they actually do it. So a lot of people are like, oh, this is real, and it's live. So they're like, oh my gosh. And they see 20 people in chat going cash, 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 cash. They go, shoot, And because they're having it share out, how Facebook works, it does these little parties that looks like there's only 10 people in there. So every single person thinks, oh my gosh, they said the first 1,000, there's only 12 people here. Nobody knows about it because it's on Facebook. Watch this. This is so crazy. Mr. Beast cash. And everybody's tweeting him, and the guy doesn't even know it's being used. And it's been going on days in a row. Look at this. This is news. Nobody's covering this. Trying to scam me. My Cash App is up there. And it says, hey, someone is using your name to scam people. Cash $10,000 to fans all over. Thousands of people gave up all their information. Live, Mr. Beast, Cash Money. And look, this is it's just crazy. They all look the same. There was 15 of them going at the same time. They are getting so many people's credit card numbers so fast, and they've been doing it for like days straight. I called the company that their thing went to. They didn't even know what was going on. They were using somebody and layering something over it, so it's grabbing all their credit card numbers. Anyways, I digress. This got a lot of people, including people I knew, and I was just blown away that nobody checked and nobody looked at it, because obviously I went to his YouTube. He wasn't live. I went to his thing, Twitter, no mention of it. They advertise this stuff all over the place. And people got scammed hard over the last 2 days. But anyways, again, if you guys want to support the channel and get something that can help protect you against stuff like this, I would highly go with Nord. They're one of the best. Again, usually the YouTubers that are talking about this are like Casey Neistat, these kind of people. We're lucky to have them as an affiliate. They are one of the best programs out there. And again, it's turning it off and turning it on. It's like a light switch. Once you turn it on, it actually just does its thing. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. What it does is it hides your IP, and it also prevents you from being data logged. Again, that's one of our main arguments here is, again, you can use it up to 6 devices. So your kids, if they're doing homeschooling or Chrome schooling, as they call it, I would highly recommend putting this on those devices so nobody's getting in on your kids' sessions there. Okay, with that being said, we've got a really awesome story. Now, let's take our next call, and then we're going to get into this. This was really, really awesome story here. We've got our next caller. I'm going to take right now. Backwoods Ingenuity is next. Backwoods Ingenuity, I want to talk about a military training mission from South Carolina. Go.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, good. How's it going? Backwoods Ingenuity. Live free. What is the saying?
Live free, travel light, and work hard.
That's right. So, what is this military training mission you wanted to talk about?
All right, so several years back, whenever I was in the Army, and I can't give all too many details about what the mission was entailing, but due to a lot of recent events, as far as like the quote unquote, I don't even really want to say the word, but mass gatherings tend to go south, go bad really quick, especially towards precincts. Well, the training exercise that I was actually a part of in a MP battalion, we were training with another country. And the final exercise that we had to take part in was going into this town and taking back a police station that had been taken over by armed opposition force. So I never really connected the dots on that until a lot of stuff started happening recently.
You're saying when you were
thoughts on that?
So when you were serving in the military, you guys did a drill that basically played out that you were going to be retaking a regular police station in the United States. Is that right? Or am I getting that wrong?
It wasn't specifically stated that it was in the United States. It was set up as a town with a large police precinct in the middle.
Can I ask how many years ago this was?
This was about, let's see, I got out probably 3.5 years ago, somewhere in that time frame.
So,
and we were also training with another military group to do this as well.
Now, was that from out of the country? That wasn't when the U.S. did all the stuff with Korea, was it?
No. This took place in another country, and we were actually training with military police from another country.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to ask is what country was that? Was that Europe? Were you doing it with Britain soldiers or British soldiers, or do you remember?
It was actually Macedonia.
Wow, weird. Why Macedonia?
I have no clue specifically why it was them, but I know the mission was just one of the several things we had to do. I think it was the culminating event. But yeah, there were several other small missions we did, but that was just the only one that connected in my brain, if I can speak English today, with a lot of recent events.
It says Macedonian Army U.S. forces to hold joint drill. It says a group of 100 Macedonian Army troops and some 300 members of U.S. Armed Forces will hold a joint drill in Macedonia's capital on Saturday and Sunday. Oh, weird. This looks like
that sounds new. That actually sounds new to me because that's not the one I took part in.
Well, so basically what this says is that Macedonia and the U.S. have been drilling together. Look at that. It says, whoa. It says other exercises will include clearing up improvised explosives. That's somewhat normal if you're an Afghan, blah, blah, blah. Cleanup of radiation contamination and target practices, the minister noted. Radiation contamination. Why Macedonia specifically training with us? And why radiation? This is 3 years ago. So you're saying you also drilled with Macedonian soldiers and retook a police station that was taken by a force. And of course, this is all a hypothetical situation where you guys go in and do a kind of, I don't know if it was live fire, but that's pretty nuts.
No, it wasn't live fire, but we also had, I believe it was another regiment of ground troops that was also with us.
Wow. Okay, well, yeah. I wonder what the audience thinks about this. As far as NATO goes, I guess that's where it comes in, that NATO is organizing Macedonia and these guys as part of something. You never hear about Macedonia. Maybe there are some... that's weird.
Yeah, just like I said, it's one of those things. I was sitting back and looking at a bunch of older videos and clips of stuff that's happened over here recently, especially towards like precincts, and the one I believe that happened up in around where you're at in Seattle, where they took over or kind of shut down that precinct for the zone. And that just kind of, the little light bulb went off in my head. I was like, were they expecting this kind of stuff to happen and training us ahead of time for it? But yet again, that's just my thoughts. I don't really have any kind of specific backing towards that. But
well, I don't even think we're at that point yet. Right now, of course, you've got police stations being lit on fire and things like that, but we have not got to the point where somebody would be taking it back. We might not be there yet, and that might still be the hypothetical situation coming. Well, thank you again for your call. Is there anything else you want to say before you go backwards, Ingenuity?
Oh, yes. I actually want to thank a lot of the Foogle fam that showed up over on my channel. I went from 42 subscribers way over. I think now I'm at 405. So I was not even expecting that kind of turnout. I thought maybe 100 people would come over and check it out, but you guys really blew it out of the water with that, and I really appreciate it.
Well, of course. Everybody over here is awesome. You got the Foogle fam behind you. Then you got, again, 416 subscribers. So the reason why we try to help people get 1,000 is not just so they can get monetized and found by the algorithm, but 2, they don't even let you go live from your phone if you do not have 1,000 subscribers. That started after the NZ event where that gentleman did all that stuff on a GoPro, and that changed everything. They actually changed the way that YouTube works, and now they require 1,000 subscribers so nobody can just start a thing and go live. I get why they did that part, but again, we can help Backwoods Ingenuity by doing that. So again, love mobs, always welcome. You guys have the name. You can also go to marfooglenews.com to find him. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and of course, yeah, we got you. We got your back.
All right. Thank you, and y'all have a good one. Remember, live free, travel light, and work hard.
Boom. I couldn't let you go without your saying. All right, Gone Girl 777. I run out of ways to differently say it. Thank you, Gone Girl 777. Veteran Steve, thank you for gifting subs to the channel over on DLive. Thank you, everybody that supports this channel. And again, we're trying to grow this into a legitimate news agency, so we appreciate all the support. We are also building a platform right now so we can communicate and rebuild what they took from us, which was our state groups. All 50 states and countries around the world were preparing for any kind of disaster. We had volunteer programs where if you were disabled or elderly, people volunteered to help you in an event of a disaster. We had job forums where people were doing handyman work, all sorts of stuff. All of this was being done in our group of 15,000 on Discord because of a small percentage, but a big number, over 500 active military and retired military members. They took it down because of the fear that they put throughout all of the internet of the far this direction people, right? And then they said that they were taking out these, I don't even want to say the word. We had Time Magazine, Vice, all these things vaguely talking about us and another group. And it's like, that's not us. You're bunching us in with people we're not. It's just stupid. They did a blanket rule across different platforms, and we fell under that blanket. So now we have to basically put up our own money to make a platform that's untouchable so we can actually build it again. I spent so much time, so many people. Jay Stone spent her whole life helping others on that for years. A lot of our mods did. Clan Mama was in there every day, all day. Jay Stone was in there. There were so many mods in there that were doing a huge, huge amount of work. And it just, boom. So, thank you guys for your support. We will have a replacement soon. Before we go, of course, we have to lift everybody up. So, electrician comes to repair lights for a 72-year-old, then enlists entire community to fix her crumbling house for free. It says, like many elderly Americans, Gloria Scott lives on a limited income. Sometimes that means making hard choices. If money's tight, home repair and maintenance are often the first things that fall by the wayside. It says that when Scott's overhead light fixture went out, however, she decided living in the dark wouldn't do. Though she knew her budget had to take a hit, she called in an electrician, John Kinney, to make the necessary repairs. Little did the 72-year-old know she wasn't just getting an electrician. She was getting a knight in shining armor as well. Deeply troubled by the extreme state of disrepair he found Scott's house in, Kinney couldn't get the woman's desperate situation out of his head. No lights, running water. I saw her on a Friday, and it stuck with me over the weekend. I said, I got to go back there. Rather than walk away, Kinney went back to Scott's place and started working on some other much-needed repairs, free of charge. But he didn't stop there. It said Kinney set up a nice old lady needs help Facebook page to solicit other local tradespeople to lend a hand as well. The enthusiastic response was pretty amazing. With an impressive chunk of Woburn, Massachusetts community rallying the call so far, Scott's home has gotten new electrical, new plumbing systems, new windows, and extensive repairs to the crumbling walls, ceilings, front steps, and porch. Meanwhile, outside, the neighbors toiled on landscape cleanup and new planting projects. A steady flow of food donations streamed in to feed the volunteers. To say Scott was blown away by the outpouring of generosity is an understatement. He says, "Look at these people," she exclaimed. "You can't even comprehend the gratitude I have." The project was such a success, Kinney decided to take it to the next level, naming the initiative Gloria's Gladiators. He hopes to inspire a legion of like-minded knights in shining armor, electric or otherwise, to help needy seniors in their own community. That is pretty flippin' awesome. We need more stuff like this. We need more people like this. And we need more communities like this that hold their own and stop worrying about people everywhere else. Worry about the people right next to you. That will make us a better community. And if you start in the neighborhood level, that radiates out. If we're all working on our own and our own neighbors, the entire world gets better. All right, you guys. I'm losing my voice here, so I don't know how long I'm going to be able to last. So we did cut it to 3 callers tonight. We will do, of course, regular amount of callers later. I did want to check on Bones and Tubbs. Every time we do a love mob, we always make sure to check on them. Only 276, I think that's 276 subscribers away from 1,000, which, 1, they can get live on their phone, but 2, they'll get monetized, and they might actually be able to do something in the algorithm, because the algorithm, of course, only wants to help people that are making them money. So, anyways, you guys, it's what a crazy time we live in. Mighty Mouse, thank you. It says, "Tell your wonderful wife we're praying for all y'all. I never miss a show, and I love the Foogle family." Well, thank you so much, Mighty Mouse. Liz LaMarche, "Hey, fam, my dad and nephew got DX with the CV last week, and they are fine. The aftermath of tracing, not so fine. Ugh." So they're saying they got it, didn't have too many problems, but then they went down the line, names, all that kind of stuff, and it's causing them issues. Does not sound fine. Mark Sketch says, "I'm ex-UK military, and we did things, in my case, Bosnia, that happened and lost mates. I miss daily and still have not been unveiled and no recognition for them." So Mark Sketch is saying his friends died, and they don't get any credit for it because it's not unveiled. Ed Whitson says, says nothing, but thank you so much for your support. End Times, again, says, "Love you, Marfoogle fam. So much love forever. We need everyone." Thank you so much. Susan Donahue, love you. Thank you so much. Hashtag Team Humanity. And then we've got Philbilly X, J Farm, Lady Mel, Play Hard 69. Cactus Patch Girl, thank you so much. Veteran Steve, thank you for your service and thank you for being here. Dormsy, Eric Elliott, Midnight Warrior, That Chowky Gal, thank you guys so much for coming in. Robin Scholes, thank you for subbing. Johnson, thank you so much for the Ninja Guinea. You guys are awesome. Thank you for going above and beyond every single night, every time. It's people like you that honestly support this channel, that are making it bigger, that are helping us grow. And I hope you guys appreciate what we do. And I really do see the people that do see it. So thank you. The time and effort is obviously there. It's just it's really appreciated to see so many people help and help so many times. So thank you. Let's see here. I am going to pull this open real quick. Bam, bam. All right, let's see here. Johnson is number 1 right now. Thank you so much, Johnson, for all of your support tonight. Basically the equivalent of 4 Ninja Guineas, so appreciate that. Veteran Steve, basically right behind him with 3.9K. Gone Girl 777, thank you so much. You are on the all-time list of all time, so thank you so much for even being on it tonight. End Times, you as well. Thank you, and thank you for supporting other creators like Cha Money and everybody else that you have actually helped. And not only, literally, you guys have to realize too, when you support other creators, you could be helping them get over that one notch to make their stuff better or to make their channel better. Baldy Locks Awake. I hope Jen's doing okay. I'm hoping that her leg is healing. I know she just broke her entire leg, which sucks. And then MRSA1, thank you so much for being this month's top contributor over on DLive. Gone Girl, you are number 2 on this month. Tower Bear, I don't know if you're even here tonight, but appreciate you and shout out for being number 3. Chazer152, thank you for being number 4. And Amy R, thank you for being number 5. It is now officially time for a shoutro. Dex, how much time do we have left?
Adam, you have less than 8 minutes.
All right. Afterwards, it will just go right over to DLive. Again, Dex, you know when to cut it. I'll be saying thank you to all of my YouTube peeps over there. So, love you guys. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out.
I was doing it all the way. Coming back and you know that we all the way. Gotta bring it back on down. Gotta go back and now. Gotta do it like that chowky gal. Gotta be like I'm Big Lady Mel. Gotta be the pepper chi-chi. Gotta do it like ICC. I love them Migos. Gotta go back now, I see you. Hey, buns and toes. Going back around now, I go. Buns and toes. Bring it on the back with the Braille. Susie touched on and the same. Got a lady melody. and now we're failing. Gotta go back, oh, what is the smell? I see Dolly, 83, going back now with me. Gotta go echo, love it low. Gotta be background, now you flow. Hey, yes, we got the douche of the lover, come back. Liz LaMarche and the Mighty Mouse. Gotta go back like you move a house and no Mark sketch. Gotta go back now. I sketched the love with the Edward son. Gonna bring it back down like dim son. Like that noodles and the end times, I'm about to bring it on like character now, and you gotta go wow. Deep fried Ohio gravy. I love you, baby. Gonna bring it back down, I say, WWGWG, hey, I'll bring it now. Got to go back now with the YouTube. I gotta go back over to a deal. And the global impact, renegade PD, I'll get your go back. Number one lucky, yes, it's the no jammer. Gonna bring it back, no Obama. Like Obama. I like. Sorry for deafening on ya. I coming back now. I come back to ya. If you see K, I say. If you see K, if you see K, I'm not spelling out the F word. It's if you see K. I got to go back now. It's the truth and then now they shut down. Adrenaline and show reality. And Tommy Byrne and Linda K.I.Z. You gotta bring it like that big S&M. Gotta do it like I know that S&M. Cutthroat Mom. You got to kiss the sky. Going back around, everybody got to get the snap or beat. Got to see everybody Cutthroat Mom with the Tony on a mountain beat. Hello, family. If you notice me like you used to, gotta bring it down. Now that we got that different system, oh, we still adjusting to YouTube doing this event crap. They don't show us anything not that. And now I got so many things going on behind the scenes. It's so crazy with the voice going back down, doing all day, going back around, and you know that way. You gotta bring it back, and you know what we say. Got to do it like it's a new day. Hello, thank you, Mr. No, gonna bring it back down, now your love. Ho, 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 back.